Breaking, BTS family angry. Taehyung suffers medical incident mid-flight, Jungkook faces tragic end? Welcome everyone. Before we dive deep into what really happened, the untold details, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our most important updates. Because trust me, this is one story you're going to want to follow to the very end. It started like any other overseas trip. The group had been keeping their movements quiet, no flashy press statements, no live streams teasing their next location. But for those who know BTS, that silence is often the loudest signal that something major is brewing behind the scenes. On this flight, Taehyung was reportedly traveling alone, no camera crews, no fanfare, just him, a few staff members, and dozens of strangers who had no idea they were sharing a cabin with one of the most recognizable faces in the world. For the first few hours, nothing unusual happened. He was seen flipping through a book, sipping water, occasionally glancing out of the window into the endless sea of clouds. Then, it happened. A sudden shift in the atmosphere. Witnesses described Taehyung slumping forward in his seat, his breathing quickening, his hand pressed tightly against his chest. At first, passengers thought he might be sleeping or feeling motion sickness. But within seconds, the tone changed. His water glass slipped from his fingers, shattering quietly against the cabin floor. The woman seated across the aisle screamed for help. The crew moved fast. An announcement crackled over the intercom asking if any medical professionals were on board. The cabin's hum of quiet conversations and movie soundtracks was replaced by a heavy, suffocating silence, the kind where every second feels stretched into an eternity. Some say his lips looked pale, others swore they saw him struggling to focus his eyes. Was it a panic attack? A heart issue? Something worse? Nobody knew for sure in that moment. But one thing was certain, Taehyung was in trouble, and the thousands of feet between him and the nearest hospital felt like an impossible gap. The flight diverted. This is not a small decision for any airline, it costs tens of thousands, throws schedules into chaos, but when a life is on the line, the math changes instantly. Reports suggest they landed at an emergency medical facility's closest airport, where paramedics were already waiting on the tarmac. And here's where the story takes a darker turn. Because while fans were still trying to process the news that Taehyung had suffered what insiders are now calling a serious mid-flight medical incident, another wave of rumors began to spread about Jungkook. And this is where ARMY's emotions shifted from fear to heartbreak. In the hours after Taehyung was rushed to the hospital, social media exploded. One particular post, quickly deleted but screenshotted by hundreds, claimed that Jungkook had been given devastating news while on set for a project. The source? An anonymous crew member who described seeing him completely break down, abandoning the shoot midway, and being driven away in a blacked-out van. At first, people assumed it was about Taehyung, that maybe Jungkook had been told about his friend's condition and simply couldn't continue. But then, whispers began to surface that it was something even more personal, something irreversible. What could possibly be so tragic that even the famously strong and resilient Jungkook would crumble in public? For years, these two have shared a bond that goes beyond music. They've weathered scandals, personal losses, endless public scrutiny, and through it all, they've held on to each other like brothers. To see them both seemingly unravel within hours of each other felt unnatural. Like something bigger was at play. And that's when the BTS family, not just the members, but their inner circle, their managers, even some relatives, reportedly began expressing anger. Not just at the situation, but at the way it happened. Multiple insiders claimed that Taehyung's health issue wasn't just bad luck, it might have been preventable. That perhaps he had been showing warning signs days earlier, skipping meals, looking unusually tired, even being seen coughing during rehearsals. But the schedule, relentless, punishing, didn't let up. And if those close to him had spoken up louder, maybe, just maybe, this flight would have been uneventful. That frustration quickly spilled online. ARMY began dissecting every recent video, every fan captured moment, searching for signs they might have missed. Some swore Taehyung's hand trembled during his last livestream. Others pointed to a moment in a behind-the-scenes clip where Jungkook asked if he was really okay, only for Taehyung to change the subject. The theory? That Jungkook knew. That he had seen his friend deteriorating and had tried, in his own quiet way, to protect him. And now, with Taehyung in a hospital bed and an unknown shadow looming over Jungkook himself, fans are left with more questions than answers. But the most haunting question of all? If this wasn't an accident, then who, or what, pushed them to this point? And what happened in those crucial hours after Taehyung was taken off that plane, that made Jungkook's world collapse? Hours after Taehyung was admitted to a private medical facility, a small group of staff members were seen slipping in and out of the building, their faces grim, avoiding the cameras. No official statement was given. No photos were released. Silence, except for the whispers. It's said that in those early hours, Jungkook arrived, not through the main entrance, but through a back service door. Security footage from a nearby parking structure allegedly shows him stepping out of a van, hood up, head down, his movements slow and heavy, as though the weight of the world sat on his shoulders. He was inside for less than 30 minutes, and when he left, witnesses swear they saw tears staining his mask. Why such secrecy? Some speculate that Taehyung's condition was far more serious than the public was allowed to believe. That the incident mid-flight wasn't just a passing health scare, but a warning sign of a deeper, ongoing battle. Others think Jungkook's emotional state was linked not just to Taehyung, but to another piece of devastating news he received almost simultaneously. An industry insider, speaking under anonymity, claimed that Jungkook had been preparing for one of the biggest career milestones of his solo path, a collaboration that could have propelled him to new heights internationally. But in the very same day that Taehyung's health collapsed, that opportunity was reportedly ripped away from him due to circumstances beyond his control. And here's where the story twists again. In a world that demands constant output, new music, new tours, new appearances, there is little room for human fragility. But perhaps this incident will force a reckoning. Perhaps, for once, the industry will choose preservation over profit. Until then, we watch. We wait. And we remember that behind the cameras, the lights, and the perfection, are 7 men whose hearts beat just like ours, vulnerable, fragile, and irreplaceable. To the world, they are idols. To each other, they are family. And sometimes, family is all you have left.